FPL is back, and here is everything you need to know ahead of Game Week 22. So starting off things, we've got the expected points and goal involvement percentages according to DraftHound. These stats really help me decide on who is the best captain for the week, as well as who are the best transfers in. As you can see, Marcus Rashford tops both the expected points and goal involvement percentage odds this week. In my opinion, I actually think of all the opportunities we have to triple captain a player so far, Rashford here is the best. I really wish that I held on to my triple captaincy for this game week because I think it's best used on Rashford this week. Bruno Fernandes in second place. I've given my opinion on him on a number of videos in the past. I don't think he's that good an option, but I think with the double, it just about makes it viable in my view. No, only joking. I think he's okay. I just don't think the underlying numbers are quite there with him. Certainly compared to previous seasons, and I also think he plays slightly deeper against the, if you like, lower opposition in the league, with no disrespect to Palace and Leeds, but Man United have played the likes of Arsenal and Man City recently, where Bruno Fernandes has played in more of an advanced role. But I think against Palace and Leeds, especially with the Eriksen injury, he's going to be playing a bit deeper, and I think Man United are going to rely on him for a bit more of a deep-lying playmaker role. Shaw in third as well. I think in terms of expected points, I think he's a great option. Only thing is with Shaw is we don't know his fitness at the moment. Maybe we'll know a bit more in the week when Ten Hag has his press conference. He's missed the last two cup games for Man United. The last one even against in their last opposition. He didn't even make the bench. I think though he is fit. We probably would have heard if it was a more serious injury. I think he is fit. The manager was just resting him against Reading. And yeah, he's going to be back to face Crystal Palace for Game Week 22. In fourth place, we've got Wan-Bissaka. I'm not entirely sure on him either, purely because I think Dalot is going to become an option again. I think Dalot could well make the squad for Game Week 22. Wan-Bissaka might start the first fixture against Palace, and then Dalot could come back in the team for Leeds. I could foresee that happening, so I'm not too sure I'd go for him. Rodrigo, great option for Leeds. He's their talisman on their penalties. I think he's a really nice looking option for double game week 22. Then you've got Varane, Martinez, Antony, Casemiro. Actually, I really like Casemiro. He's not the traditional centre defensive midfielder in the Premier League. He really is getting forward in scoring goals. Obviously, got his brace against Reading in the Cup, and he scored a number of goals in the Premier League as well. I think actually his underlying numbers are genuinely comparable to Bruno Fernandes. I think that's obviously one of the reasons I'm put off by Bruno, but for the price that you're paying for Casemiro, I think he's a great pick and definitely worth considering. Then you've got Harrison and David De Gea to finish out your top expected point scorers. Next up, an always useful stat in clean sheet odds. Top in the list, it doesn't have them in first place, but obviously with their double game week, top in the list is Man United. In their first fixture against Crystal Palace, their clean sheets are 55% chance of keeping a clean sheet, and then 41% against Leeds. So I think Man United defence, great this week if you can find the ones that play, like David De Gea. Probably Martinez, very likely to start both games. Shaw is a monitor, but it's looking like Man United definitely going to keep one clean sheet in my opinion, but could stretch to two as well. Both being home games as well really helps them. I think Man United are now unbeaten since September or something like that at Old Trafford. They're really turning it into a fortress, which makes me think they could quite easily keep two clean sheets, to be honest. Then you got Arsenal on 55, Brighton on 52, Newcastle 150, Chelsea, Villa, Brentford, Liverpool and Man City probably end the teams you can really back to keep a clean sheet. With Chelsea, I think they've really turned a corner defensively with the signing of particularly Badiashile. I think he's come into that team, almost filled in that sort of Rudiger role. Really good on the ball, very athletic, very strong, very good defensively. I think he's a great signing for Chelsea, and he's going to really help shore them up defensively. And for that reason, I actually think he's a really decent option in FPL. Not quite sure you can justify bringing him in this week or next when other teams have a double game week. But going forwards, Chelsea got a really nice long run of good fixtures. I think Badiashile comes in at a really good price at 5 million. But yeah, this week's all about Man United and Leeds, really, with their double. Villa, Brentford, Liverpool, Man City, all above 30% for clean sheets. I think with the sale of Zhao, he's gone on loan, actually, hasn't he, to Bayern Munich. But with Cancelo leaving the Man City squad, opens up the opportunity, I think, for Ake to pretty much play every game for Man City now, unless, of course, they sign a left-back, which isn't entirely impossible. So maybe Ake, not great against Tottenham, I wouldn't say the fixture, but obviously doubles in 23. I think he could be a really good pick as well. On now to the fixture news. It says double game week 22 is likely, but that's because I've recycled it from a previous week's video. Double game week 22 is going to happen. The correct results have occurred in the Cup. Leeds won their game. Man United didn't draw against Reading in the FA Cup, which means Man United and Leeds both going to double in game week 22. Game week 23 brings a double for Man City and Arsenal, whereas game week 25 brings a blank for the teams and their opponents that make the Carabao Cup final, which, in my opinion, is certainly looking likely. It's going to be Man United, Brentford, Newcastle and Brighton that blank. We will know this actually before the deadline for 22, but it seems like Newcastle and Brighton, according to Ben Crowley at least, could be arranged for the midweek in 25, which means they wouldn't actually blank, they just wouldn't play on the weekend. So interesting one there to monitor. Game week 28, we're expecting a blank, but I think with the way that cup results have gone, Arsenal now being out of the FA Cup, there was a previous worry that they might blank in game week 28. I don't believe that's going to happen anymore. Another double game week coming up in 29, some more blanks in game week 32, and then some double game weeks expected in 34 and 37. As I said in every week, the key thing that comes out of this fixture news really is that Brighton are expected to have a number of double game weeks during this period, which makes certainly after you get through 25, if they do blank, if they don't, and fair enough, they're good options now. But I think after 25, Brighton options become really attractive. They're looking likely to double in multiple game weeks, and they're playing really well. I think that rounds up the fixture news for now. And yeah, as always, I'm not responsible for this news. I pull it all off of Ben Crellin's Twitter account. He absolutely deserves a follow on Twitter, which you can see down there. Please give him a follow. Check out his account. Check out all the fixture news. It's all there for you to see. Here's my team for the week. Kepa in goal. Trippier, White, Shaw, De Bruyne, Saka, Martinelli, Rashford. I should actually have the captaincy on Rashford. I will move that. Got Haaland, Mitrovic, Nonto, Ward, Andreas, Cancelo, Patterson on my bench. I think this week, just because Man United are the team doubling, I'm just going to sit with Cancelo on my bench. I know he's just been sold or going on loan to Bayern, but I'm not sure I can justify transferring him out when other teams are having a double game week. Maybe I could do Cancelo to Martinez or something like that. But really, I'm looking to bring in Man United players. And I think one of the transfers, I don't really fancy him, but I still think that Bruno Fernandes with a double game week could be a good option. Likewise, Casemiro as well. Could quite easily get rid of Andreas for Casemiro. And then Shaw or Cancelo could well become Lisandro Martinez from Man United. I think these are all sensible transfers. Or, of course, I could roll my transfer this week because my team's not bad. Like, I've no major complaints with that 11. Mitrovic may be the one that I'm least happy with, but I can't really justify the transfer out at this stage. Maybe I could just roll, use my 3.4 million in the bank next week with 2 free transfers to properly change up my team. Bring in Nathan Ake, for example, someone like that for the long term, and attack 23 and beyond. I've still got that decision to make, but I just thought I'd show you what my team was looking like at this stage. And then to finish things off is just a view of what I think I'm going to do with my chip strategy. I've already used, unfortunately, my triple captain in game week 20, but as I was saying when I was looking at the expected points, I think Rashford, triple captain in game week 22, is looking like a great, if not the best opportunity so far to play that triple captaincy. He's absolutely on fire. I expect him to start both of the fixtures, and they're really strong fixtures in terms of goals for United. I think Crystal Palace and Leeds are 18th and 19th in terms of expected goals conceded since the World Cup. Basically, they're 2 of the worst defenders in the league as far as I'm concerned, and that really makes him an attractive option. I'm looking to free hit in game week 29. I think we're going to get a double game week of teams that I don't necessarily own players from, which means I think a free hit is probably the most valuable chip to use on that week. I'm going to wild card in game week 33. It's looking like there's going to be a blank in 32, so I can use my free transfers after my free hit to set myself up for the blank, and then wild card myself back into a team that I really like in game week 33. And then bench boost, there's doubles in 34 and 37. I think I'm just going to monitor as I go and probably play it on those game weeks. But that's how I'm going for chip strategy. One thing I will say, I did it with my last early preview as well, is this has been inspired by FPL Raptors. Absolutely brilliant video around chip strategy and ways to play it, etc. It's a really good video, and I'm not going to steal any of his content telling you how to optimize your chip strategy or anything like that. I'm just going to tell you my strategy and point you to his video because he explains it really, really well, and I don't want to plagiarize him. So FPL Raptor, check out his video. And that ends my video. I hope you enjoyed that, gave you all the information you needed there for Game Week 22. If you need any more info or have any questions for me, disagree with any of my picks, let me know in the comments down below. And yeah, subscribe to the Golden Goal channel if you enjoyed the video. Please like it as well if you enjoyed. Subscribing means you'll see future content that I produce, making 2 FPL videos a week up until the end of the season. So I'd really appreciate it if you stick around. And other than that, I'll see you in the next video.